Come along on my creative journey in designing and fashioning a new Florentine Renaissance gown known as a gamurra. Accompany me through all of the sometimes frustrating stages, from conception and patterning through to construction and finishing. There will be plenty of lessons learned and cheeky commentary along the way. Okay, well, here's where we're at. I have finished seaming together the bodice, and you can see we've got linen. Each piece was made separately. I sewed them together with very, very small running stitches, as in Beata Osana's bodice. And what we've actually ended up with, because we have the thin layer of blue linen, the thicker layer of white linen, and then we've got this lovely pink wool. And what we've ended up with, actually, this ends up being very much like boning, like very like soft and flexible boning, but it's got quite a bit of stiffness to it. And in the front, the ridge that was created by folding that all over and then attaching that facing has basically made a nice reinforced edge, so it's very sturdy. So there's really no need to put any kind of extra anything in this, any kind of extra pad stitching or other layers. This 3-layer application really gives you what you need to create the soft yet firm look of the 1480s to 1490s. So next steps. I think for this, I put it on, I tried it on, as you'll see in this overlay, and it was a little too tight around my arm area on the one side, because my right side, I favor my right side. And so I guess the musculature in this shoulder is bigger than the musculature in this shoulder, so I'm going to have to cut this arm's eye out a little bit more. But I'm going to do that after I have attached the lacing ring so that I can put it on, the bodice on, and lace it properly as it would be, and then get a real idea for how it feels. And I'm going to do that over top of a camicia. Remember, whenever you're doing fittings or trying things on as you go, and I do recommend when you are sewing a dress, please, please, please keep trying things on as you go, because things will shift. Once you add a seam, once you use different kinds of fabric, then the fabrics in which you patterned your garment, it's going to change things. So you want to keep trying it on as you go and make little adjustments so that you don't get to the end, have this beautifully finished garment, and you have to take everything apart to make it actually fit you properly. Big sewing tip from the Contessa, my dears. I'm going to attach the the lacing rings in front, these beautiful lacing rings from Billy and Charlie. And then I'm going to put it on over a camicia, lace it up, and see what might need to be adjusted before proceeding with finishing the edges here. And as for finishing the edges, I'm going to be doing a binding around the edges, as is found in Beata Osana's gamurra and also in the both the farsetto of Diego di Caviglia and his giornea. The facings were no longer attached, kind of binding facing. It's this combo thing where it kind of curls over the edge so you see it in the front a little bit, and then more of it is in the back and tacked down. Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing to finish this off. But I want to make sure everything fits properly before I put any bindings or finish any of these edges. Project I'll be working on in parallel, or the step I'll be working on in parallel to that, probably, because I can do one on the fly. I can take this with me to places, and when I'm standing around waiting, I can sew on lacing rings, whereas this big bulky piece of skirt is less easily pulled out and worked on, so I'll probably be doing them both at the same time. That's right, I can't just sit around and do nothing. That's not in my nature. So this is one of the skirt panels. It's the front panel, actually, and you'll notice it is in 2 pieces, and that is on purpose so that the opening for the lacing of the gown will align with the opening in a natural seam opening in this skirt, so that it will not cause any kind of, I won't have to cut into fabric. There'll be a nice strong finished seam that will just open naturally. And that also means that I now need to put a seam down the front. So I'm going to go ahead and put a seam down the center front. And I'm going to first though, we will be attaching the lining, and I'm doing this lining exactly as it is in Beata Osana's gamurra. So her skirts are lined, but only down to mid-thigh. So that's where we're going with this, lining down to mid-thigh. And then for the hem, once I get all the skirt all pieced together and all the seams finished, etc., we're going to be going with a facing, just like a facing / guard, just like in the Beata Osana's gamurra. So those are our next steps. Let's see how long this all takes. Friendly kitties. Città della Pieve kitties are so friendly. Oh.